It's really not looking good for you, Donald. Donald Trump's mental and physical conditions are rapidly deteriorating. It's bad. On Thursday, yet again, we saw Donald Trump falling asleep, almost collapsing in his chair during a press conference, and this follows him doing that during a cabinet meeting. He's doing it last week. He just can't stay awake at all, and we see Donald Trump yet again covering up the bruises on his hand. His hand looks like it's rotting away, and he's trying to cover it up, and it has these bandages over him. Photographers were able to capture what was going on there. It's really not looking good. I want to really delve into this right now, and specifically what a Democratic lawmaker was saying. And this Democratic Congresswoman, Sidney Comliger-Dove, she said, "Is he taking Leqembi? Leqembi is an Alzheimer's drug that was recently approved by the FDA. It was an experimental drug. And if you look at what Leqembi does, it's administered through an infusion, for example, through the hand. It can cause swelling, bleeding, or fluid leakage in the brain. It requires regular MRIs, the way Donald Trump's getting these regular MRIs that he's trying to cover up. It can cause tiredness and basically all of the symptoms that we're seeing in Donald Trump. I want to show you this video on Leqembi so you can judge for yourself. Before doing that, I want to ask you, please subscribe to the MeidasTouch YouTube channel. As you know, our fearless reporting here is under attack by Donald Trump and his regime. They've been posting about us on social media, attacking us. State regime media known as Fox is attacking us. MAGA is attacking us. We get death threats all the time. So please, if you can, hit subscribe. We want to get to 6 million subscribers so we can continue our fearless reporting here. Let me show you this video right here about this FDA Alzheimer's drug, Leqembi, and I want to get your take on what you think. Here, play this clip.
We continue our coverage of an FDA-approved Alzheimer's drug that can slow cognitive decline and not just treat the symptoms.
Yeah, it's a really big deal. A lot of people, especially those who suffer from Alzheimer's, they are so hopeful about any progress that can be made. Fox China's Carrie Beal spoke with a patient who participated in the clinical trial for this drug. Carrie.
Yeah, the 89-year-old patient I talked to has been taking the medicine for about 2 years, and he believes it's the reason he's still functioning so well.
Hi, Zelik, are you ready for today?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's get this started.
Zelik started the Alzheimer's treatment known as Leqembi in clinical trials 2 years ago.
Okay, keep your arms straight. That's nice. Good.
It involves an IV treatment taken once every 2 weeks.
We'll get you started, okay?
Zelik, who lives in Canada, asked we not use his last name.
I hardly feel it at all, and it lasts about an hour, and it drip, and then you rest about a half an hour, and then you go home.
His older brother died from Alzheimer's disease.
And that was a very disturbing thing for me because I was concerned I hope it wouldn't happen to me.
So when Zelik was diagnosed, he immediately got involved with this clinical trial. Leqembi is only designed for those with early stages of the disease.
Well, this is the first time that we have a drug shown to slow down the progression of Alzheimer's disease by targeting an underlying key pathology of the disease. So this is an exciting milestone.
The director of Toronto Memory Program, Dr. Sharon Cohen, examined patients as they took the drug.
How are you? Nice
Very
to see
good.
you.
By 18 months on cognitive measures and functional measures, there was a 27% slowing. And we saw that slowing as early as 6 months.
But there can be side effects like brain bleeds.
This is self-limiting for the most part, often occurs without any symptoms at all. And yet we monitor with MRI scans.
Zelik says the drug has allowed him to continue spending quality time with his wife.
My wife recently had an operation. I don't do a lot of things around the house. I took over everything in the house, and everything was fine.
And you said you haven't noticed any further decline, like in the last 2 years?
No, it seems that I've just stayed steady.
Wow. When I watched that video, my mouth dropped and I was like, that's the MRI machine. That's the swelling of the hand. Is that why he's going to Walter Reed all the time? Now, we know Alzheimer's runs in Donald Trump's family. His dad, Fred, died of Alzheimer's, rapidly deteriorating health condition starting in the early 90s. The Trump family tried to cover up, and Donald, I think, tried to cover up Fred's Alzheimer's, and he had to take these cognitive exams all the time. We know from Donald Trump's nephew, Fred III, that Donald Trump is deathly afraid of what happened to his father happening to him. And again, we see Donald Trump exhibiting all of those symptoms and conditions. Again, I don't know one way or another what's happening here, but what I do know is that Donald Trump is covering up the MRI results. We are not getting the data set here of what's happening. And I have a First Amendment right to share my opinion when Donald Trump is covering up these MRI results. So I want to share with you what Dr. Vin Gupta, renowned doctor who's the head of Midas Health, what he told us. So one thing I asked Dr. Gupta is, what do you make of Donald Trump saying he keeps getting these cognitive exams? He keeps taking cognitive exams. Here's what Dr. Gupta told me about Trump saying he keeps taking these cognitive exams. Here, play this clip. In the experts that you speak to and in your own practice, have you ever heard of somebody taking these cognitive exams that Trump keeps saying he's taking like every 3 months or 6 months? This level of, have you ever heard of that? Like with that level of frequency?
No. Nobody takes a Montreal Cognitive Assessment, MoCA for short, which it focuses on recall, memory loss, basic things. Mild cognitive dysfunction is what it tends to sort of screen for. It's not a great tool. No one takes it with this type of frequency. I was on with Nicole Wallace yesterday, and I thought she said it beautifully. Saying that you're passing it every other week is not some sort of flex here that he thinks it is. It's an unusual thing to keep boasting about. Doing it as frequently as he's doing makes no sense. I don't know any neurologist that would recommend doing a MoCA with that type of frequency. And again, it's not the flex that I think he thinks it is.
So then I asked Dr. Gupta about this MRI doctor's note that Donald Trump produced, where Donald Trump's doctor said he got a comprehensive executive physical. Advanced imaging was performed because men of his age benefit for a thorough evaluation of abdominal health. The purpose of this imaging is preventative. So Donald Trump's doctor was talking about a preventative abdominal MRI. And Dr. Gupta said, Ben, I've asked the top radiologists, the top MRI technicians, the top doctors in this area from various clinical and other practice areas. And he said, there's no such thing as a preventative abdominal MRI. MRIs usually aren't even performed in the abdominal area. It's usually of the brain or of the spine. And if you were to do a preventative MRI, which is not something that should be done, you wouldn't just ignore an area like the brain or the spine and focus just on the abdomen. So either this preventative MRI was done, which is likely not the case, and they're hiding the results about the brain area, or this whole thing is basically a farce to begin with, which I think you know which one it is. But here's what Dr. Gupta told me just about the idea of preventative MRIs. Here, play this clip. I had a chance to speak to a lot of radiology colleagues at the best academic institutions in the country over the last 24 hours because, I want to make sure that we're getting the very best expertise across specialties for Midas and Midas Health. No one is aware of getting an MRI of the torso, which is what the results that were summarized in the physician's note that Carolyn Levitt read out. It doesn't exist. They had justified getting an MRI of the torso for primary screening of some sort of medical process, because he's older. And, that doesn't exist. I'm not aware, my colleagues across the spectrum in radiology are not aware of that type of screening process. You just don't do it. And I think the fact that they reported only the cardiovascular and abdominal findings is odd. Why? Did he get a full body MRI because that's in vogue amongst a certain subsegment of society, and they just reported the cardiac and the abdominal findings? Okay, then why did they leave out everything else? Did they just get a torso MRI? Why? There is no clinical guideline that exists. And again, these are the most credentialed radiologists in the country. I challenge anybody to find a group of folks that is more credentialed and more accomplished and knows, what to do and when to do MRIs than the folks I've spoken with. No one is aware of any type of screening guideline to say, yes, as you age, get an MRI of the heart and of your abdomen. So the whole thing is just unusual. And the fact that they're drawing attention to it and that he's teased it, now drawing more attention to it, it doesn't make any sense. I think they're creating more problems for themselves than they're actually solving. Hey everybody, Ben Meiselas here from the MeidasTouch Network. I wanted to let you know about my podcast partner, Michael Popok's new law firm. It's called the Popok Firm. Michael Popok's pursuing his dream of starting his own law firm, really based on the popular demand by all the Meidas Mighty and legal AFers who were approaching Michael Popok with their cases and saying, can you help us? And at that time, Popok was not able to. So he went out on his own. He started the Popok Firm, where he is now handling catastrophic injury cases like car accident cases, trucking cases, malpractice cases, big negligence cases, wrongful death cases. So if you or someone you know have a case like this, the consultation with Popok's firm is free. Give him a call. See if you have a case. It's thepopokfirm.com, thepopokfirm.com, or you can call 877-POPOK-AF, P-O-P-O-K-A-F. So 1-877-POPOK-AF. Give Michael Popok a call. And I'm really proud of you, Popok. Thanks for all the hard work you're putting in. Then Dr. Gupta spoke to me generally about what he's observing in Donald Trump's health and Trump's deteriorating condition. Play this clip.
It's an information void. I'll say as an observer, just like you. And what do we know? Clearly, it looks like he's not getting enough sleep, or he's just more fatigued. I think the New York Times did extensive reporting that him and his team have panned, but it seems like they're reporting on his fatigue and his functionality is bearing out in his public appearances. So that's what we know. It's been documented through significant reporting. To your point, erratic behavior, which either is a hallmark of who he is as a person, because we've seen elements of that over the last 10 to 15 years since he's been in politics. Or one could say it's getting worse, more frequent, which I think is the case, to your point on social posting last night. These trend lines here, more fatigue. I continue to go back to how he comported himself when somebody fainted in the Oval Office, didn't really show any signs of concern, just general apathy, inattention. And then, yes, the erratic behavior looking to be more frequent. These are what we know. These are what we're observing. And then when you couple that with just the fact that they're letting things out drip, 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 they don't really make any medical sense. Again, if you talk to credentialed physicians that know what they're talking about in radiology, they're just creating more questions than they're answering, and that's the problem.
So as I mentioned, Donald Trump's been trying to hide his hand, which we see is rotting away. And again, looks similar to someone who would be under Lakemba, just that's what it, or just someone who's getting constant IVs in that area. I mean, that's what it looks like. And we see him falling asleep. The Washington Post has actually done a good job lately, finally, covering Donald Trump's deteriorating health. The recent cabinet meeting that Donald Trump held this past week, he was sleeping throughout it. Take a look at the Washington Post's video of Donald Trump sleeping there. Play this clip.
Japan and Korea, they offer us $750 billion in cash to build in America.
Over a fence line dispute that had been in their family for 130 years. We fixed that. The Henry family in New Jersey.
Investments, and we're seeing more and more of that, where we also rescinded the supplemental statement that discouraged the fiduciaries.
California, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Maryland, I could go on. What happened in those states?
Well, many of whom were let in across our borders under the previous administration. We are focused on these tasks and this imperative for the American people, and just appreciate your leadership, Mr. President.
Key Supreme Court decisions like Loper-Bright overturned the Chevron doctrine. We inherited massive backlogs.
And that means that American patients at the point of care.
Here's the Washington Post coverage of Trump's prior meeting in the Oval Office, where he also fell asleep. Let me show you this right here.
Who live in food deserts and are suffering from obesity and are locked into that system. President Trump has also instructed us to address and end the root causes of chronic disease. Who made this happen? They saw that this could be a win-win situation, that this was not a zero-sum game, a savings, and that's because the price of diabetes prescriptions is also going to drop. Do not have diabetes. People who have a BMI of 27 and above, or pre-diabetic, or have heart.
Good reason against it. Now, MAHA is critical. America will have to get fit in order to right-size the healthcare system, and sleep, and dealing with issues related to that. And I want to say it as clear as I can. Secretary Kennedy mentioned.
And then Donald Trump fell asleep at the press conference that he held on Thursday, where he held this fake peace deal between the leaders of Congo and Rwanda, even though they're still at war with each other, but he pretended that they weren't. And again, he fell asleep there. Let me show you right here. Here, play this clip right here.
Uhuru Kenyatta, who I can see here in the room, these two great Africans who are at the beginning, who started the Rwanda and the Nairobi processes. And beyond them, I wish to thank also all of the African leaders who contributed to help us in this struggle. And I do hope that we have, yes, reached the end. The Washington Agreement.
And so you see on state regime media, they're trying to make excuses for him. So here they have Sean Hannity and Clay Travis. Here's what they say. Play this clip.
I saw him while I'm in D.C. He is just, he talked for hours. I watched it. I talk to him regularly. I hear it. He is as engaged as anybody I know.
Sean, he just had a 2-hour cabinet meeting where he answered questions about everything under the sun.
And they bring on this guy who just says the most outrageous things. This guy Siegel, who they say is a doctor. And he's like, this is like Thomas Edison. Donald Trump's just taking his executive power naps. This is totally normal. Here, play this clip.
We all know that he doesn't sleep. You know, I'm not a big sleeper either. So, you know, on occasion, I close my eyes if someone's talking for too long, I admit it. But big deal. I mean, the results speak for themselves. What President Trump does on a daily basis. If you sleep 3 hours or 4 hours a night, you're probably going to close your eyes, whether you're 79 or 49. I don't think that matters.
Yeah, President Trump, Thomas Edison believed in the 10-minute nap, by the way. What would they say? We wouldn't have electricity, right?
Oh, my goodness. Well, Dr. Siegel, we will continue to see them fixate on this after everything they did to cover for Joe.
It's not incredibly normal at all. So you saw the video on Lekembe. I want to be clear once again. I'm just sharing you my opinion. And in the absence of transparency of Trump actually producing an MRI result, this is all we have to work with. And so I want to know what you think. Let me know. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.